Hi everybody, it's Tia. I'm back. I'm so excited. You guys, today is it's a really exciting day. I have a friend here with me, and he's going to sit down and tell his story about his beautiful unvaccinated children. And I think you're going to know who this guy is because he was with us at the ACIP meeting and was one of the people who spoke at the ACIP meeting yesterday. So that was pretty fun. Had some videos from that kind of start to take a little viral turn, and you may have seen him. His name is Kevin Tuttle. And so, yay, did you find the stream? Did you share it?
It's not coming up.
Refresh the page. So he's trying to share the stream.
Okay.
You found it?
Yep.
Okay, so he's going to share the stream. Anyway, did you guys see? How many of you guys were watching yesterday? Day before yesterday, Wednesday. How many of you guys were watching? Was that something else or what? Pretty excited about it. You found it? You shared it? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap seats, and I'm going to let him sit down, and we're going to get to know Kevin Tuttle. Ready?
It's here. I don't know how to share it.
You don't know how to share it?
Keeps not.
Yeah, share. And post. You're done. It's done. You're shared. We're coming. All right. Get yourself framed up.
So you want me to face you?
No, you can kind of face towards the camera because I'm gonna hold on. Let me get you framed up good. I had it perfect for me, but you're a little bit taller.
Okay.
There you go. Line up with the eyeball.
Hi.
We're just hanging out, you guys, because we're getting ready to go on the Robert Scott Bell Show in a little while. So tune into Robert Scott Bell Show at 4:30. We're going to be sharing our videos on there too. But I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to meet Kevin. And so, Kevin, say hi to the peeps.
Hi, peeps. How's it going?
So you were at the ACIP meeting yesterday. You said something about being a former Air Force.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I did everything the wrong way, you know.
They shot you up, didn't they?
Yes. So I was an unvaccinated child.
Okay.
Somehow survived my whole life without being vaccinated, and then I went through college and made sure I racked up some student debt, and then I joined the Air Force. That's what I'm saying. I did everything backwards. I should have, maybe thought about that beforehand. But so yeah, I joined the Air Force and went through the line to get vaccinated. But
How many shots do you think they gave you in that process?
I recall at least 7, but I don't know. And I've been having a really hard time getting my medical records.
7 at once?
Yeah,
Wow.
like right there. And I remember almost passing out. And this is the military, so everyone's like, dude, you're just being a wuss, what? And I'm just profusely sweating. I'm like, I need to sit down. I'm like, I don't feel good. But that was the extent of any
so you didn't really
negative.
feel any major adverse reaction?
Nothing. No, I mean, no, it was hard to say because back then I didn't exactly live the cleanest life as far as partying goes, and probably did stuff that was not healthy. So
it's a rite of passage in the military, right? Go out and get drunk again.
Yeah, it's in the early 20s, and my health kind of deteriorated over the years though. So like just random stuff, like I had a knee injury that I was just running casually and my knee pops, stuff like that. Like I felt like my body was breaking down constantly, and it was frustrating. And then when you go to the Air Force hospitals, they give you, or to the doctor, the first thing is vitamin M, is what they call it, because that's Motrin. So your first stop is always vitamin M, 800 milligrams. Take this 4 times a day. And they wouldn't give me an MRI on my knee. I knew I tore my knee, because I could hardly walk. And so it was a year of taking vitamin M every day, that many times. And then I started getting stomach pains. I
was about to say,
and
stomach
heartburn was so bad that now I had to get another pharmaceutical for that. And already back then, I'm like, this isn't, I didn't used to have to take any drugs. And now I'm taking 2. And where's it going from here? So thankfully I separated from the Air Force after 6 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, how long were you in the military? Okay, so 6 years.
Yep.
And then
I wanted to get out because my wife and I wanted to start a family, and I didn't want to have to be deployed. I was in Afghanistan for a year prior to getting out, and like, if we have children, I'm not doing this again. You know,
right.
They want to try to indoctrinate you to the point where it's service before self, which I understand to a point, but service before self to the point that's before your family, I always had a hard time with that. So I'm like, I'm not going to do that.
That's good.
So mad respect for the people who do. I'm not speaking poorly on that. So many, you know, brave people out there who are able to
a lot of people are making to keep our country safe, and that's very much. And thank you, by the way, thank you for your service. I know Afghanistan was an ugly place to be, and you know, glad you got through that okay. So your beautiful wife and you decided that you wanted to start a family. Let's talk about where you were at on the vaccine issue when you guys said, hey, let's have kids.
You know, it was not even a concern. I never even thought about it. You know, it was, we're reading baby name books and that sort of stuff, not really thinking about vaccines whatsoever.
All right, Mr. Luke's coming in. Please be, just don't run through here naked. That's all I ask. All right, keep talking.
So, okay. So one day we lived in Florida, and I went to the gym, and on the last rep, you know, of a pull-up I was doing, I hurt my neck, and I just felt something like really bad. I could hardly like reach my arm out, and I had a 6-shift car at the time too. So when I got in my car, I'm like, how can I reach my stick? And I'm trying to contort my body to get there, and there was a chiropractor on the way home. So I just pulled into his lot and walked in and said, you know, I'm having an issue. Can you help me? And so he helped me immediately, and in talking, you know, tell me about yourself. What are you going through in life, and where are you? And so, you know, I told him my wife's pregnant, and I think she was about 7 months pregnant at the time. And he's like, well, what are you thinking about vaccination? And I just kind of looked at it. I'm like, I don't know. I've never really thought about it. And, you know, then he questioned me about my vaccines and stuff. And it's like, you know what? I wasn't vaccinated as a kid. I know my mom's against me doing this, but I didn't really give it any thought. And he said, tomorrow night we're having a screening of a polio, I don't remember what it was called, but it was a polio documentary about the polio hoax. So he invited me to come back that following night to watch this. And
was it Mary's Monkey?
I couldn't even tell you. I don't remember the name at all. But
was it about the contamination in the polio vaccine?
It was about changing the name of what polio is, and all of, you know, that aspect of things, that what we're hearing is not the truth.
So this was what kind of a doctor?
He was a chiropractor.
I was going to say chiropractor. We love chiropractors. Thank you. Yay. So a chiropractor opened your eyes. Nice. He did.
And at that same time, you know, we had an allopathic OB/GYN for my wife, and he was a dick. And in one of the visits, my wife asked him, so how do you feel about a birth plan? And he said, look, I've seen so many things go wrong in the room that day that you just got to leave it up to me. You know, these birth plans are just kind of nonsense to me. So don't you worry, I'm going to take care of everything. Well, that didn't sit well with either of us. So when we left there, and at the same time going to the chiropractor, and I started talking with him about, you know, the dissatisfaction that we have with the doctor, and he says, well, have you thought about a home birth? And I was like, not until right now, but yeah, that sounds pretty good. And so he gave me a card for a local midwife, and I went home, and when I approached Bonnie about this, then she stared at me. She's like, what? You know, what? This isn't 1950? And, you know, but then we got to talking about how the doctors treated her, like who says what the next doctor is going to do, and the atmosphere of everything. We watched The Business of Being Born, which was a Ricky Lake documentary on how expensive it is to be born, and how this is all a business for everyone, especially with C-sections. You know, the rise in C-sections was just skyrocketing. And so we looked into the home birth instead, and went that route.
Did you home birth with both of your children?
Both of our children are home birth.
Wow.
Yeah. Different midwives. Wow. You know, my son was born in Wisconsin.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's great. And you did, well, I know that, and sometimes people do that and they have complications and they have to get to the hospital. So
of course,
you know, we but I think any time that can be done successfully, that is just like bravo.
Yeah,
and
I know it with my daughter, it would have definitely been a C-section. She was a very difficult birth, and I mean, over 3 hours of pushing and 36 hours of labor altogether. But it was tough, but she made it, and no ill effects. And we took her to the chiropractor right after, and it was great. She was, healthy.
Nice. And how old are they now?
My she'll be 12 in June, and my son's 10.
Okay. So, have they had the measles?
They have not.
Chickenpox?
Yes.
They had chickenpox?
They had chickenpox.
Mumps?
No.
Polio?
I don't believe so.
Flu?
No.
Are you afraid of the whooping cough or meningitis or?
In all of this, I feel like you can't live your life in fear. Like I don't, that it just doesn't compute with me. I'm not going to be scared of authority figures, of
So have they had any
illness?
Ear infections?
Yeah, my daughter had several ear infections as a kid. She got quite a few, yeah.
So
antibiotics? The first one she got antibiotics, and then she got another ear infection, and so it was a challenge with her.
Did she get vitamin K? No, because you had a home birth.
Right.
So none of that stuff. Okay. So
but I didn't, in fairness, I didn't study any of this stuff when my kids were that young either. When they were just born. I didn't start into this whole.
What about allergies?
Anti-vax thing they don't have any allergies.
Any learning disabilities?
No.
Any?
They're really talented. They're
ADD,
kind. They're funny.
ADHD, autism.
No. My son, he's on the 4th grade basketball team. With the Y League, he does that, and it drives him nuts that the other kids during practice and stuff, they're not paying attention. They're all playing their own little games. The coach is talking, nobody's listening, and so my son has taken up like a leadership thing. He's like, you guys need to be quiet. This is why we don't play well in the games, because you don't listen. And so
wow, that's great. So super healthy. Yeah. Super healthy, smart, bright, no issues that we see in the vaccinated. And so you have no regrets. I can tell by looking and talking to you. You don't ever sit and think, well, maybe I should have vaccinated because that would protect them against. Is there anything that the pro-vax side could say to you to convince you that you made a mistake by not vaccinating and then go out and vaccinate?
Absolutely not. And I mean, if you just look at a school, my wife's a school teacher. She teaches special needs kids, and that school has 700 students in it, and 90 of them are special needs.
Wow.
That right there. I mean, any of us, I'm 43, any of us, around my age or even a little bit younger, I don't think that we knew any special needs kids, if, maybe a couple in the school, but to have 90 in a school of 700, it's insane. And now they're just treating it as it's normal. So that's the new keyword, right, is normal. Just because there's a lot of people who have it,
right,
it's normal. And I don't, no, there's nothing that a pro-vaxxer could say to me to convince me that I did anything dangerous for my kids, or that my kids are a danger to anyone else.
Okay, that's good. All right, do you want to talk about the ACIP meeting a little bit? You want to?
Sure.
So I know you came back in October. What were your thoughts about it then? And what are your thoughts about, let's go back. Okay, so you came in October and you didn't get to speak. You just got to observe. So what was your takeaway from the October ACIP meeting?
That the panel is completely callous to reality, that they don't care, that everybody was on their phones, and Katie Klobas called them out on it, thank God. You have an hour to listen to people. It's not that hard to turn your chairs around and listen to the people who, most of us came a long ways to talk to them. So just to have a little bit of respect, and they had none, and that drove me crazy. So I think part of this time was, a little bit. I was already worked up. From that. Yes, yeah. So
this time you put your name in the hat and they picked it. They picked you.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about like the thought process of coming up with your speech? You said you wrote 4 different versions of it. So
I did. So the first version, it was pretty angry, and that's a few weeks ago I just felt felt like really suppressed overall, just like this anger inside, because I get so many stories a day. People contact me and telling me the same types of stories. My kid regressed after this, and I can't do anything. I'm not a doctor. I want to help, but I can't. I can only be empathetic or sympathetic. I can't even be empathetic, but I felt like it just got too much, and other things were happening where people are attacking me for I don't even know, God knows what. I'm
over the target.
I'm a millionaire in Florida, and I'm in this, because I'm a controlled opposition or whatnot.
We're not even going to give that. Listen, y'all, stop with that nonsense. Listen, I'm telling you something. I've gotten to know you. I think you're a pretty cool dude. So all that stuff is nonsense. We don't even give those people the time of day. Let's talk about your.
So as far as the speeches go, though, why this took so long for me, the first speech I wrote was more out of anger. So the one I actually went with was far tamer than the first one. But I wanted to make sure that, the things that were on my mind were the people who are affected by this. I don't have vaccine injured kids, but I still have a heart for all of you who do.
Wow.
And
thank you.
That was part of my motivation in what can I say to this board, to this panel of some of the government's most corrupt people, is how I feel, that
most esteemed scientists and doctors.
Right.
Yes.
This is a room full of the biggest idiots I've ever met.
Well, no, they're esteemed doctors and scientists.
Esteemed doctors and scientists. Yes.
Say it with a straight face. Okay, so I love your speech. Well, are we going to switch personalities? That might be a different video. So I thought your speech was spot on. People can review that. I posted a link yesterday or day before you of all the links to the different stories. So I thought it was great. Do you want to explain the thing at the end? No, we don't even need to do that. People can figure that out. Right.
I mean, if you ever watched NBC Thursday Night TV back in the day, you'll know what that was.
Certain sitcoms.
So, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Eric real quick.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So, what is Eric?
So Eric is the Adverse Events Recovery and Information Center. It's a nonprofit that I'm starting, and our purpose is to fund recovery through non-allopathic means to those who need it. So people who need therapies for their children have the resources to do that, because I don't feel it's fair that unless you have wealth, that your children have a chance at recovery. So that's our mission, is to try to raise funds to help those families.
And where can people get information about Eric?
You can go to ericheals.org. That's AERICHEALS.org.
I'll come over here, put it on the screen.
And to help along with Eric here, we're doing a bicycle ride across the country.
Type in that address for people. All right. And so go ahead. You were saying.
So we're doing a bicycle ride across the country to raise awareness for vaccine injury, and we won't discriminate against pharmaceutical injury of any sort. So anybody who's been injured to come out, and we're going to have 21 events along the route. It's going from San Francisco on May 15th to Philadelphia on July 4th.
Are you riding your bike the whole way?
I'm riding my bike the whole ways, depending. Yes, the plan is to ride my bike the whole way.
Do you have other cyclists coming along with you?
Not that I know of. I mean, people can sign up.
People should come and join.
They should.
Even if it's just for a couple miles.
Exactly.
I think you should. Exactly. I mean, I'm just brainstorming here while we're live, but wouldn't that be great if you open it up and say, look, you can ride a mile, or you can ride across the state.
That's a really good idea. So if you go to ericheals.org, you can sign up.
You can sign up to join Kevin for a leg of the ride.
Yes. You can ride a state, you can ride a county, you can ride a mile.
Whatever amount you're
a few hundred yards, whatever. Just come out.
That would be amazing.
But the point is not me riding across the country. No, nobody cares about some Jews doing that.
Attention to vaccine injury.
It's the events along those routes.
Right.
Along the route. And the events are important. The local, whoever, we need people to step up and host these events and get speakers involved.
So how do people get in touch with you?
Just go to Eric Heals. You can find me on Mediocre as Kevin on Facebook. how else you want to get in touch? Go to.
Do you want to, however you want to give people a method to get in touch with you? You can type it in on there, and it'll go into the comments.
Okay.
If you want to.
I'll do it here after.
Okay. Yeah. So that's great. I think it's fantastic. And but you're not coming through Atlanta.
Nope. We'll be the farthest south we get is Kentucky.
Okay.
So we're going to be, Sacramento over through South Lake Tahoe, and then kind of mid-Nevada, southern Utah,
nice.
And then southern Colorado up to Denver, Omaha, down to
wow.
St. Louis, and then kind of across.
Sounds like great fun. And you're doing that this summer, right?
Yep, May 15th it starts. All
right.
And looking for sponsors. So if you are a naturopathic doctor or clinic or anybody who wants their logos out there who, are, I'm not going to accept a sponsorship from Walmart, in other words.
No.
I want people who are like-minded and who believe in what we're doing.
That's great. That's great. All right. Get the shout out for that.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to say? Any message for the peeps? Any word for the peeps?
No, we're all a team together. We all need to start speaking up. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. These people who are put into authority positions above us, they're just people.
Right.
To me, their authority does not matter. No matter what they tell me, I am not going to vaccinate my kids. So you can mandate the hell out of it. It's not going to happen. And they're going to have a revolution on their hands if they keep pushing this stuff.
Yep. Well, I think there's already a peaceful revolution going on, and revolution, yes. Evolution, whatever you want to, love, revolution. As long as we can, grow the respect of our rights, because really we have God-given rights that the government doesn't have. They don't have any authority to remove from us. Right. So as long as we can expand the appreciation and the respect of the rights that we have and not lose those rights, that is a revolutionary thought.
Yeah. It baffles me that people are so willing to give the rights up. Like, hey, government calls for your guns, let's hand them over. Government calls for your body, sure, take it. Yeah. Your body, my choice, doctors. Here you go.
Oh, do you want to explain Dr. Kosher for anybody that might be confused?
Yes, Dr. Kosher was my alter ego, I guess. He's just a character I came up with who was modeled after my wife's doctor, who said, oh, by the way, I don't know if I explained that, but when he asked, we fired him. So he called the house and talked to my wife, why don't you need my services? And she goes, well, we decided to go another route. He's like, well, what do you take? What route are you doing? And well, we're going to have a home birth. And he snickered. He goes, we call those dirty babies, don't you? Yeah, that's what he tells me on the phone.
Babies.
Dirty babies. So home births are dirty babies. So my Dr. Kosher is modeled after the level of asshole that this guy was. And so I'm just a basic, your regular doctor, just trust me. Ego, total jerk. Yeah. So
but it's a character.
Right. Dr. Kosher, he loves the CDC, he loves especially flu shots. He's really turned on the flu shots.
He really likes the flu shots, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like his thing.
Yep. So that's how that came about.
That's great. It's good fun. It's good fun.
Right.
I have a character like that too. It's Linda T. Amberly. She is very pro-vaccine. I'll have to show you.
We'll have to get them together sometime.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think they would be great together. Yeah. they will make a great couple. You might not like. She's a little bizarre looking though. You'll have to see what I'm talking about when you
look forward to it.
But anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed meeting Kevin. He's a great guy, you guys. He's got 2 beautiful unvaccinated babies, and he's on our side.
Babies.
Well, look, when you're a mama, your children are always your babies. They're always you have 2 beautiful unvaccinated, healthy children.
Very true.
That's great. And they're going to stay that way. So you're not worried about cervical cancer for your 12-year-old daughter?
No, I mean for my son.
For your son, you're really worried.
It keeps me up at night.
Worried about his cervix.
He's gonna get cervical cancer. He's gonna pass it on to everybody else.
That's terrible.
It's scary. It's a scary world, and Gardasil cures all.
Right,
so. But wait, I'm sorry, that was Kosher.
You were in character. We were talking about Dr. Kosher. Yes, no, but you're not really afraid of that, are you?
No. Who's afraid of that?
Do people sit around? Oh my God, that vaccine that prevents cancer, that's the most important one. I'm like, that's the worst one there is.
I know.
It's crazy.
It's a crazy world.
All right, you guys, I'm going to come over here. Let me give them a hug for the peeps. All right, now listen, you guys, we're going to be on Robert Scott Bell Show at 4:30. So tune in and check that out and see all the love everybody's been sending you the whole time. Isn't that great?
It's awesome. Thank you.
We're going to say goodbye, you guys, and we'll see you over on Robert Scott Bell if you decide to go over there. Bye.
Bye.
Yes, I want to end this live video. Silly.